Welcome back. As you know, I am Eli, the computer guy, here for your daily dose of the roars as we scream about the stupid stuff going on in the world of technology. Do remember I do these videos in order to support SiliconDojo.com, free hands-on technology education in Durham, North Carolina. We have a class coming up on the Moon Dream AI model for computer vision. That'll be next week. We have another class coming up on pushing AI to the edge with Raspberry Pis. That'll be coming up in January. If you're interested, take a look at our schedule at SiliconDojo.com. If you want to support free hands-on technology education, there's a donor box link down below. And we get back to our favorite telenovela. Like I was worried with The Ballad of Nexperia. Frankly, it was going on a little long. It was getting a little boring. But I've had some time. I haven't watched the show for a little while, and now I feel excited to jump back in and to see what insanity is going on. So there's not a lot of insanity going on here, but I think it kind of shows you just how fucking stupid the Europeans are. Dear Europeans, stop licking the walls. All I'm saying, I don't agree with Trump on many things, but I do believe that the Europeans are going to reach civilizational extinction in 20 years if they don't stop licking the walls. It's not cool. It's not funny. There's lead in the paint. Stop. So anyways, this whole thing with Nexperia, so much stuff has gone on. It started off in September. Basically, the government of the Netherlands seized this company called Nexperia, which is owned by a Chinese company called Wingtech, because of national security concerns. Oh my God, China might do something to threaten our national security. So they seized Nexperia, and then China basically shut down all export of finished products for these particular chips that Nexperia produced. Basically what happened is Nexperia, the headquarters, was in the Netherlands. They had wafer fabs in Europe. Those wafers were then sent to China to be packaged, to actually be turned into the little chip, to then be sent to all the auto manufacturers around the world. So when the Netherlands seized Nexperia, the Chinese government stepped in and told the Nexperia division in China that they could not ship any of these finished chips to anybody around the world. And the curious thing here is to understand what a global disaster this is, right? When Europe fucks up this bad, it fucks everybody. The first plant that I could find that was shutting down because of this disaster was actually a Honda plant in Mexico, of all places. So everybody got hit by this. Auto manufacturers in Alabama, auto manufacturers in Brazil, auto manufacturers in Japan. Apparently everybody other than Toyota was the only one to be like, that's fine. Everybody else was getting hit by this complete and utter disaster. And I think one of the big things, concepts I've been bringing up lately that I get really concerned about with how the Western world deals with fucking China is that China has been willing to acquiesce for whatever reason for a long time. Right? We have been assholes to them for a long time, right? The Pacific Pivot, right? The Nobel Peace Prize winning president won the fucking Nobel Peace Prize for showing up to work. If you don't call that a metaphor, I don't know what is. Anyways, he won the Nobel Peace Prize for showing up to work and then promptly did what was called the Pacific Pivot, pivoted our entire military apparatus to point at China. Right, for military containment. After that, there was something called the Trans-Pacific Partnership, the TPP. Again, under the Nobel Peace Prize winning president. And the idea was that we're going to create a free trade zone in the Pacific. China was not going to be allowed to join initially so that we could solidify all the rules and then force China to agree to whatever we had to say. Right? And one of the things I've been talking about for a while, as we see our politicians get up and thump their chest, is that, China's been pretty quiet about a lot of this stuff. Like, the weird thing is how insulting things are, especially how insulting things have become politically, where it's not simply, look, this is a security issue, so we have to do something. Or look, this is a trade issue, so we have to do something. Like, there's more like emotion that goes behind, right? Those people are cheating. Those people, again, the reason those people are horrible, and the Chinese have fucking dealt with it, right? They've shipped product and moved on. The issue you get to is in any society, there is a point in time where people start getting tired of being crapped on, right? They start wanting a little bit of the respect that, frankly, they are due. One where that, even if China is our enemy, they're not our enemy, but even if China was our enemy, they deserve more respect as our enemy. Like, it's weird. Like, Russia's a pissant fucking gas station on the global stage. The only reason Russia has any fucking power is because they have nuclear weapons. And yet you hear how the Western powers talk about Russia. And I gotta say, it's a hell of a lot more respectful towards Putin than they are towards China, which is actually the fucking world power, right? And it's weird, right? It's one of the things I've been talking about for a while, is at some point the Chinese people are gonna get more and more pissed off, and whether it makes sense or whether it's a good idea, the Chinese politicians, are gonna have to start bitch smacking some fucking whiteys. Whiteys are gonna have to start fucking crying one way or the other, whatever at the end of the day the repercussions are. It is interesting in societies, like there's this idea of tyrannical societies and dictatorial societies and democratic societies, and the idea that democratic politicians have to appease their populace. That would be nice. And the dictators, the tyrants, they can do whatever they want. That's not really the case, right? At any point in time, the population can rise up and fucking stab your ass, right? We've seen that enough in history. We have seen very powerful regimes fall shockingly quickly at the exact same moment the entire population says, fuck this, right? And so one of the things to be thinking about with the Chinese regime is that they do have to worry about popular sentiment. They do have to worry about what the man in the street or the woman in the street believes that the Chinese government is doing, right? They may be able to use more force, they may be able to use more coercion, but they do have to worry. They do have to worry. Like if the average Chinese person, if by and large the average Chinese person feels like Xi is a little fucking bitch, any goddamn Yankee can just spank whenever the fuck they want to, at some point that's not going to work out for Xi. At some point Xi's got to go. Right? So, one of the things to be thinking about Xi, one of the things to be thinking about the entire Chinese Communist Party, CCP. Piss off the Chinaman. God damn it, CPC. No, it's not CCP. Anyways, one of the things is they've got to start proving they will not accept the insults anymore. And I think that's what's interesting here. Coming from the Dutch minister, admits God knows why he was blindsided, right? Dutch minister admits being blindsided by China's retaliation and Nexperia chip crisis. Look at this. This little fucking European wall licker, right, is shocked when China retaliates for the Netherlands seizing one of their companies. What? The only way you can be blindsided, the only way you can be shocked is if you are so inherently fucking racist against the Chinese, you honestly believe not a goddamn thing that you do, no matter how ridiculous it is, that they will still kowtow towards you. And the issue that I get really concerned about for the quote-unquote Western world is that this is just hardwired into so many people's brain. Right? We are superior. They are inferior. Ergo, we can do damn near anything we want, and they will say, "I'm so sorry." Yeah, that's not how this shit works. Export controls may have been the economic weapon of choice in 2025. But the Dutch minister at the center of Nexperia crisis has admitted he was blindsided by Beijing when it blocked the company's chips from leaving China. His concession raises fresh questions over how much planning went into the decision to reach for a Cold War-era law to intervene in the Chinese-owned Dutch-headquartered chipmaker in September, a move that triggered a supply chain shock in the global automotive industry. An assessment was made of the possible counter-reactions. This wasn't the most likely reaction from China. What, you didn't like the thought that the Chinese might actually provide a forceful response? You just fucking assumed a country of a population of 1.4 billion people whose economy, military, everything else can fucking bitch stomp your postage stamp of a fucking shithole little country. You just didn't think they might retaliate significantly. And this is going to be the issue with Europe for the next 100 fucking years. What is the shit show of Europe going to be as they continuously fail, as they fall to the third world, but still pretend to be global players? Right? And that's going to be an issue we're all going to have to be thinking about, right? Because when this Dutch minister does something stupid, again, Japanese car factories in Mexico are affected by this idiocy. Said Vincent Karaman's, the Dutch economy minister. And remember, this is the same minister that said he would do it all over again. During a debate on the Nexperia saga in the House of Representatives on Thursday evening. On October 4th, 5 days after Karaman's triggered the Goods Availability Act to prevent Nexperia's Chinese owners from transferring production capacity from Europe to China, Beijing restricted the shipment of finished chips from the company's back-end plant in Dongguan. It is there that 70% of its estimated 10 billion legacy chips are tested and packaged every year. So that's right. That's right. The Europeans can't fathom the concept of strong Chinese retaliation. Not even strong Chinese attack. That's his own thing. Strong Chinese retaliation. The Europeans believe they can do whatever the fuck they want to China, and China's just going to say, I'm so sorry. I'm going to say something. I'm going to say something. And it's going to come as a shock to wall lickers out there. But Chinaman be people too. Chinaman be people too. There is a limit to their fucking patience. And God bless the Chinese, because I can say as an American, I got fucking exhausted of the Europeans a couple of decades ago. Again, when I get snotty about the fucking wall licker Europeans, this isn't because I watch Fox News. This isn't because I read Breitbart, because I fucking dealt with Europeans. I've been all over you do not know how many continents I've been on, where it's been a beautiful day. I've been sitting there with a nice little cup of coffee. I mean, I might be in India. I might be in South America. God help me, might actually be in Europe. You're just sitting there, nice little fucking cup of coffee. It's blue sky, and it's sunny. You're like, wow, this is wonderful. And you're just sipping away. And some fucking European comes up and goes, oh, let me tell you about how shitty America is. And you're like, what? But look at the bird. Isn't that a cute bird? Yeah, you don't have birds like that in America because America's a shithole. Like, what? Like it is just, oh my God! Like you do not know how many times I've just sat there and I'm just like, what the fuck is going on, dude? I just want to drink my fucking cup of coffee and see the birds flip by. But no, the Europeans, they're going to tell you exactly what pieces of shit they think you are. So God bless the Chinese for containing their patience up until this point in time. I will be curious to see how much further this goes. It'll be interesting, too, for the European viewers out there. Again, when you listen to me, dear European viewers, understand, I'm just giving you this from lived experience. Like, oh my God, you just don't understand. You know, like, just like, what the fuck? You know, it's the one thing, like you're drinking a beer and you start talking about like the Iraq War or something, and then you get into an argument. Fine, you don't understand what it's like to be on a beautiful fucking, not once or twice, like dozens of times. Oh, let me tell you about America. Like, oh Jesus Christ. Anyways, it will be also interesting too with Europe. Like, if China starts forcefully retaliating against Europe, which it's likely to continue doing. And then you've got the United States, and to be clear, like, Europe irritates me. I'm not all on board with where Trump is going with this. But look, Trump just came out with a U.S. security policy, essentially saying European civilization, whatever the fuck that actually means, is going to be dead in 20 years. They're committing civilizational suicide, and we need to fucking disengage as fast as possible. I mean, one of the things for the Europeans, where the fuck you sit in that mess, to be considering is What if the world disengages from Europe? And again, when we talk about Europe, it's always funny. It's always funny when I do these videos. Because when I talk about Africa, I'll be like, Africa. And then I'll get all these comments. I'll get all these people that are really snarky and mean to me. Because Africa is not a country. How dare you call it Africa? Right? Kenya is not Nigeria. You know, it's not Lebanon, Liberia, that type of thing. Right? But what's weird? If I say Africa just as a word, people give me all kinds of shit. What's curious though, if I say Europe as a word, people are pretty mum. People are pretty mum on it. But in reality, like Europe looks a hell of a lot more like Africa. It does like the US. It's true, right? It's all kinds of different countries. It's all kinds of different countries with people with a whole bunch of different opinions, with entirely different governments, and they are truly fucking duct taped together into this monstrosity that's now considered the EU. And so an interesting thing to be thinking about, like, because there's been so much emphasis towards Europe. Like, it's weird, like, with U.S. power. And again, I understand if you dislike U.S. power. I get it if you dislike U.S. power. But you also have to understand, like, how much emphasis there has been by the United States to maintain Europe. To maintain the viability of Europe. And it's curious to wonder, what happens when we stop giving a shit? What happens when China starts pushing back? And what happens when Russia keeps doing whatever the hell Russia is going to keep doing? Where does that put Europe? I don't know. So what do you think about this? What do you think about the Dutch minister admitting he was blindsided that China man might actually retaliate for what should be the Dutch's illegal action to seize Nexperia? What do you think about it? Like, when you hear about this and you start hearing more and more from the European side, does it make you ever more horrified about how dumb these people really are? I don't know. Put your thoughts down below. Do remember I do these videos in order to support SiliconDojo.com. Free hands-on technology education in Durham, North Carolina. We have a class coming up on the Moondream computer vision model for AI computer vision. That'll be coming up next week. We have another class coming up on pushing AI to the edge with Raspberry Pi. That'll be coming up in the beginning of January. If you're interested, take a look at our schedule at SiliconDojo.com. If you want to help support these free classes, there is a donor box link down below. And with that, see y'all later.